Now, there's a lot going on, and France is happening. Of course, you had the G20 summit that wrapped up, and you still have ramifications regarding the trade deal. And here I am talking about Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live. And why, Tony? Why is this happening? You should know how crazy the crazy is. There are two things at play here, and I don't want to use the word crazy in a dismissive way. The idea that people are aggrieved, right? And I cannot think of a better word. The feeling of resentment at having been unfairly treated. They're upset. They are desperate to be victims. That we have seen this in multiple places, but very often for a lot of us on the political right, for example, we see it in these political contexts, and we see it in the context of race. Or we see it in the context of sexuality. And usually the context has us playing the right-left game. But every now and then you see it in the context of left-on-left, which is to say, who can out-special the other person? Ariana Grande, who, by the way, if I'm being asked, needs to eat a sandwich. She's a very small person. And I always think that she's going to just break. Like, she's super tiny. She has a video out called Thank You Next. It's a new song. In 3 days, it's racked up over 100 million views. It's been wildly successful. Yet some people didn't like it. There's a website called Into, INTO, and a writer there said that the video is, and I'm quoting here, anti-queer. And I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know what that's supposed to mean to me. And the article wasn't necessarily written for me. Now, the video I actually did sit down and watch, and the video is a takeoff of Mean Girls. It's a takeoff of Bring It On, the cheerleading movie. It's a takeoff on Legally Blonde, right? Those three things. And I didn't think the video, it didn't mean anything to me. And, and I didn't feel like there was a real message being delivered there. It's not like This Is America by Childish Gambino, where the video is trying to say something. The song says something, but the song without the video is really not as good. Not in any way. And so I watched the video, and what I basically said is, wow, Ariana Grande does not enjoy clothing. Basically is what I came away with. Video wasn't for me. I understand that. Well, over here at the site Into, they say that the video was really an attack on gay people. Unfortunately, not all representation is good, and her music video failed to support the basic dignity of queer and trans people. Laden with trans misogyny, anti-queer jokes, and blackface. What? The video follows Ariana's white feminist awakening through the celebrity-laden nod to several cult classics. I didn't even see the blackface. I didn't see that at all. I don't even know what they're referring to. Neither here nor there. This person writes a piece, giving her or his, I don't know who, review. I don't know who, because they took the byline off of the piece. Why? Because the writer was getting death threats. Okay, we got to stop. So this is first, it's unbelievably unique because you're talking about a world of the progressive side that maybe you never dabble in or deal in. This whole conversation about Ariana Grande, maybe I should have started with, she's a singer. Right? Maybe that you have such a cultural detachment that you don't even know what these things are, which is a big problem, and which is why they on the political left are so able to win so often, because you don't even know who the cultural players are, which is not good. But now let's get down to it. Somebody writes an opinion, even if it's just nonsense, and they get death threats? Does it matter that it's a quote-unquote gay magazine or gay website? Who cares? They don't deserve death threats. It's an opinion. Oh, you don't like Ariana Grande, so therefore you have to die is so surreal. Is so awful. Is so 2018. Because if the objective is to be a victim, if the objective is to be aggrieved, if the objective is to have everything in your life bring you pain, well, then you have to be aggrieved, you have to be a victim, and you have to feel pain. This is what has to happen in your life. You've made these choices. Now you have to do the things that allow you to enable these choices. So therefore, everything is an assault on you every single day. It's no way to live, as I see it. It can't be fun. It's got to suck. It's got to suck. But here it is. It's why it's happening. The other side of this is a guy by the name of Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson was engaged for a while to Ariana Grande. Pete Davidson is on Saturday Night Live, and Pete Davidson is not a guy who ever should have been engaged to Ariana Grande. I said it then, I said it now. You know Pete Davidson because he is the one who insulted Representative-elect Dan Crenshaw. Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw lost his eye in Afghanistan. That's Pete Davidson. And Pete Davidson insulted him. And then Crenshaw came on the show, and there was an apology, and I think that Saturday Night Live handled it very well. I thought Pete Davidson handled it very well, and I said so at the time. And I think everybody moved forward. Well, that whole thing brought up more about, because it happened right after he broke up with Ariana Grande. Well, I guess people are still talking about this breakup. And he goes to Instagram, right? Because that's where a place people go to say things. He says, I kept my mouth shut, never mentioned any names, never said a word about anyone or anything. I'm trying to understand how when something happens to a guy, the whole entire world just trashes him without any facts or frame of reference. Especially in today's climate where everyone loves to be offended and upset, it truly is mind-boggling. I was just talking about how people love to be upset. I've been getting online bullied and in public by people for 9 months. I've spoken about BPD, which I believe is bipolar disorder, and being suicidal publicly only in the hopes that it will bring awareness and help kids like myself who don't want to be on this earth. I just want you guys to know, no matter how hard the internet or anyone tries to make me kill myself, I won't. I'm upset. I even have to say this. To all those holding me down and seeing this for what it is, I see you, and I love you. He doesn't mean holding me down like oppressing me, holding me down, keeping me tethered is what he means there. And then he goes on the Today Show to complain about being bullied. Now, there is something unique here. I know what it's like to be depressed. Certainly was never bipolar. I know what it's like to be suicidal. It is a very, very weird phenomenon. My 20s were an absolute mess, and things didn't really get right until my mid-30s. Really and truly, man. I don't think I want those 15 years back. But I could have had a better time. It was very rough. I could talk about it now, but being suicidal is a strange feeling. The months and maybe a year that I kind of lost. I can't tell you what I did. I can't tell you what I worked at. I can't tell you how I made a living. I can't tell you why my fiance, now wife, stayed with me. I can't tell you anything about those days at all, except that it was, the idea of fog is real. When you're depressed and it's like a depression, it's a fog, and that's very, very real. And I have no problem with discussing it publicly. And I do think that it helps because it can and does get better, and you can actually make it get better. You can work through it. It just takes time, and hopefully you got better help than I got, because I never went for enough help, and I do believe, looking back, that I should have. But the idea that the internet is bullying you, you live your whole life in in a glass house. You went on to your show and trashed other people. And now people are trashing you. I never once thought to say to the trolls that I have in social media and other places, hey, you can't say this about me because after all, one time in my life, people are going to say what they say. People are going to say what they say. And I don't know if you have to come out with some kind of statement about it. That's the part that I can't, that is unbelievable. There's the side of the people who are aggrieved all the time, and then there's the side that have to let you know how bad they've got it. A lot of people have it bad, and I don't think there's anything wrong with telling people, hey, if you're suicidal, you don't have to act upon it. It can get better. You can make it better. You really and truly can, and I only hope that you do. But online bullied? Dude, man, you did some bullying yourself. You don't have to tell everybody about that. You don't have to act like somehow you're a victim on that one, man. You're not suicidal because of these other people. You're suicidal because of you. And you can work through it, Pete Davidson. I really hope that you do. And I hope that you always get the help that you need. 800-273-8255. That's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. 1-800-273-8255. I'm Tony Katz.